grueling and fascinating 3000 steeplechase, as I look over my shoulder to check Erky Newell's not on his way up to have a word with me. Anyway, so qualification quite generous here. It's 5+5 across the 2 heats. The fastest in the field is Andrea Nygaard V. She's got a fair amount of experience in the big events, but has only run the steeplechase twice. Allen, the Irish woman, twice a national champion. Vikova, national championship silver with 10:22. Olivia McGee set her PB on the 7th of June. Pimentel, a national championship silver over the 5,000, so good stamina. Emma Nova of Finland gets a good cheer from the crowd, but Nygaard V, by far and away the quickest in this field, the only one of the entrants from Heat 1 to have gone inside 10 minutes. There are 2 in the second heat, including the defending champion. Jubinets of Ukraine. Polisi of Italy, a small, powerful figure, 10:46 PB. Obavikova, national record holder over the 2000 steeplechase. Samuelson will have aspirations. She's run inside 11 minutes. And Michalina Tham of Poland. Ram of Switzerland, 10:28 from her, one of the quickest in the field. Emma Berkova got a silver last year in Banska Bystrica and has had 2 domestic wins in 2025. She's the second quickest in the field. Boris, the French woman, not too far behind Berkova in terms of performances this year. Stamatopoulou on the inside, but Nygaard V, 9:58 on her 3000 steeplechase debut in Brussels in May, and a 9:51 in Gothenburg. Only Yarosova and Lindner of the Czechia and Germany respectively in the second heat have joined her under 10 minutes. She's the favourite, only needs top 5. So the first of 2 heats of the women's 3000-metre steeplechase underway. Watch for Berkova as well in this one. Berkova and Boris, Czechia and the French woman, they've both run inside 10:20. Allen, the Irish woman, has got the potential to go well here. Ireland, of course, great aspirations in the men's 400 with Conor Kelly. Qualified nicely yesterday. The Irish have enjoyed great success in the European Age Group Championships. Kelly will be hoping for good things in the 400. Well, you can just see the difference in quality, can't you? Coming on the outside on this first lap. Lovely the way that Nygaard V just seems to be on her toes. Water jump on the outside here in Tampere. Nicely negotiated there by the Norwegian. 1 foot on the barrier, but very little by way of splash on the 1 foot that landed in the water. She just looks so comfortable, Phil. A very, very quality athlete. A little bit of a stutter into that one. Just getting to grips with the event. Only the 3rd time she's ever run a competitive 3 steeple.
Well, doing absolutely the right thing as well, staying out of trouble, just managing to control matters. Well, we didn't see that.
That was Boris.
Look at that.
That was Boris. She's one of the quickest in the field on paper. Sorry, the French woman. Hopefully she'll be able to continue, but it just shows you if the technique lets you down, then big problems can occur.
Still plenty of time. Boris gradually working her way back up the field. But it's still McGee at the front, looking very comfortable at the moment. Olivia McGee just went through 400 metres in 78.7 seconds, and a 2-second gap roughly over Allen at this stage. But in a steeplechase, this is absolutely the right thing to do in the heats, because she's keeping clear of any trouble. We saw Boris and a number of other athletes go down at that water jump. And this is also a very packed race as well. It's got no less than 17 people in. It's got a few more than you would normally expect, perhaps, at a championship race. Looking now this time. Nobody came to grief there on that occasion. That's also interesting to see that the steeplechase water jump is actually on the outside of the track. Not entirely unique, but quite unusual, and it's right up tight against the barriers. It gives at least the spectators out on the second bend something to get up close and personal with.
It's strange, isn't it? You see it so infrequently. Well, one thing that Nygaard V could work on, she stutters into quite a few of the barriers. She's good on the water jump. Let's just have a look and see how she goes on the barrier just around about the 1500 start. Not necessarily easy to see. The cameras have changed, right. Yeah, well, that was a little better. Just a little tip-tap as she gets ready to clear the barrier. That will come with time. I mean, the great Kip Kano didn't exactly have a great technique. I think when he won the steeplechase in, was it 72? When he won the steeplechase in 72, that was famously, I think, only the 10th race he'd ever run over the 3000 steeplechase, and he became the Olympic champion.
And of course, in Filbert Bailly, who was the mile record holder, I don't think he'd even run a steeplechase or even one steeplechase before he went to Moscow and got the silver medal there. It was just in those days you could enter without a qualifying time, or might have just got one in a local competition and went there and took the silver medal in Moscow.
Come on. He'd never. I didn't know. I'm a big fan of the history of the Olympics. Are you serious? He'd never run a competitive 3 steeple before winning Olympic silver.
He might have won one or two locally, but certainly hadn't run an international standard steeplechase before he went there. No, it's. We'll look that up. Anyway, 1 kilometre passed in 3:24, so decent pace, just in outside 10 minutes, and it will, of course, get quicker over the final lap or two. But it's still McGee doing absolutely the right thing. This is very tactically astute of her. Major credit to the coaches and also Alan as well. Slowly working her way back up through the field, and after that early fall, the Frenchwoman Boris doing well at this stage.
Yeah, good running from McGee. That PB coming just early in June. Alan is also paying close attention at the front.
So we haven't mentioned her very much, but Rahm, the Swiss woman, got a personal best that's fairly similar to the likes of Alan and some of the other women around her. And again, really getting up there. She might not necessarily have been one of the people you'd have picked out for automatic qualification, but Rahm, the Swiss woman, still very much up there, very much contending for those 5 automatic qualifying spots. Fairly sympathetic qualifying times, not like the men's 800 metres yesterday. 5 to go through as automatic qualifiers and 5 non-automatic qualifiers. Soto up there. Well, Soto 10:36 woman, so not one of the quickest, but you never discount a Spanish middle distance runner. And still quite a big group up there, the leading group. I make it about 9 people up there before we start going back to the likes of Stamatopoulos, the Greek woman in 10th place. So
yeah, it's a big gap to the athletes who've become detached from this group. McGee leading, but they're all beginning to queue up. Berkova, silver in the European under-18s. There she is on the left in Banska Bystrica in rather different weather. It's sort of, the weather's okay. It's probably at 18, 19 now. Nygaard V tucking in behind Allen and McGee. But that was a good run last year from Berkova. She's paying close attention. Oh, another big fall of that. Oh, it's the Frenchwoman again. Now, what a story that would be if Bourkis could qualify, having fallen not once but twice in the water jump. Let's keep our fingers crossed that she can bounce back once again, although much harder to do so. I tell you what, it's incredible that she didn't injure herself there. Maybe the fact that she hit the water so deep just took a little bit of a sting out of the fall. She's now rejoined that group at the back of it. There she is on the left of picture. I'll tell you what, if she could come home in the top 5, that would be a great story.
And now she's just coming around the outside, getting herself into good position. She's out. Well, she's dodging back into the back of the pack. She was looking as though she was going to veer out to the third lane. Maurice, and now very much back in the pack. So just coming up for the leaders with 2 laps to go.
Berkova now. That's probably her name having fallen off.
Yeah.
Right, her bibs come off the front. Right, so Nygaard V now leads. Berkova right there on her shoulder.
There was some
Bourhis.
There was some clipping of some heels there as well. There was some women tripping up over each other. Nothing too dramatic. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving about 40 metres before we entered that water jump. So it's still Nygaard V now moving to the front, doing everything sensible now as the bell is imminent. They're coming up. They're about 80 metres away from hearing the bell.
Wow. Soto there had to, I don't know whether she fell, she climbed over the barrier and just stopped. Wow.
Yeah, and McGee just ran into her, really.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for those two. Oh, wow. And she hit it so hard. Those barriers don't move very often. Right, Soto giving chase. We're now single file as they head down the back straight. What drama we've had in this race so far. Dubonets is doing well. She's in 4th place. It's Nygaard V leading. All the histrionics happening behind her. Berkova, the silver medalist from Banska Bystrica, in 2nd. That's Dubonets coming wide on the outside. But Nygaard V running really well here. Keeping out of trouble. Doing what's needed. See, are they all safely over? What a run by the Frenchwoman, Bourhis. She has indeed managed to hang on for a spot here, assuming she can navigate the last barrier, although one of the athletes trying to close her down and trying to do so quite quickly. She needs to pay close attention. Nygaard V is going to take this one. Good running from Berkova. And what a story. A French woman does indeed come home in the top 5, having fallen not once but twice at the water jump. But Nygaard V let all the drama happen around her. Excellent work from her. 10:21. Well, it looked easy. Well, that's because her PB is 9:51. I thought Berkova looked quite good value in 2nd place, but all credit to Bourhis, the Frenchwoman who picked herself up not once but twice.
Well, interesting race there. Andrea Nygaard V did everything that she needed to do, that early pace, and it was a quick opening kilometre in under 20 heat at 3:24. Slowed rather dramatically in the middle stages of the race. It was a 3:33 second kilometre, and then picked up again in the closing stages by Nygaard V, who looks very much a medal contender. Of course, we do have the reigning European champion coming up in the next heat, Karolina Yarosova. Yarosova, one of only 3 defending champions who were still eligible to come here from Jerusalem. She won the title at 17 years of age, and she's here looking to retain her title. But Nygaard V could put up a very strong battle in that bid for a 2nd goal for Yarosova. Here's one of those dunkings, I think. Yes, there's the first of them. That's the early stages of the race. Oh, and that's where Soto, she just mistimes her hurdling, and unfortunately doesn't give Olivia McGee any room for manoeuvre, so McGee just has to put the brakes on at the closing stages of the race, with Nygaard V coming home in 8:21.95.
So McGee and Soto are in non-automatic spots at the moment, but Nygaard V cantering over the line in that 10:21.95.
As we look now at the start list for the 2nd heat of the women's steeplechase, 16 women, 2 performers to pick out in particular. Yarosova, who I mentioned, the defending champion from 2 years ago in Jerusalem. And she's the second fastest in terms of personal best, just behind the woman winner of the first heat, Nygaard V. And as well, another woman who's gone under 10 minutes for this event, Julia Jutta Lindner of Germany. Flannery. Good Irish woman, Sen the Turk. Martin, France, head out. Well, we saw drama with her compatriot in the first heat. Obradovic of Serbia. Now she's a Serbian 10-14 runner. We do expect her to be up at the sharp end of the race when it unfolds in the final few laps. Lindner. She's also got great flat speed, Lindner. Very good 3000-meter runner. And Yarosova. 4:23 1500-meter runner as well, and a gold medal as a 17-year-old from 2 years ago in these championships. Says it all about her talent. So, Obradovic, 7 times under-20 champion in Serbia over a variety of distances, and she's another woman with good credentials. She's a 4:19 1500-meter runner. That's going to stand her in good stead. I would have qualified her for the women's 1500-meter heats yesterday that we had. So instead, she's choosing to focus on the steeplechase. So straight to the front. Looks like Martin, French woman, also head out. Head out, the reigning Spanish under-20 champion. They're out. 10:29. Not the quickest of runners.
Faller there down the back straight, Phil. Let's just get on the binoculars.
So Heraut leading the way though at the moment, as we saw those folders at the very first hurdle. We'll bring you up to date on who that is, and also causing a lot of the runners to have to navigate around her. I think this is good tactics at this stage from Heraut. She's at Indiana University in the United States. Just finished her freshman year there. Finished 15th in the NCAA Championships, and so has 4 more years, I should say 3 more years to go in the American collegiate system if she sees it through to the end. Sidenius, the Italian, is up there as well. And that's good running as well from Sidenius, 18 years of age.
Sorry, just to let you know, it was Lindner, the German, who fell, and she's one of the 2 in this field who've run inside 10 minutes. She looks okay now. She's back up into around 4th place now, but she took a heck of a tumble, and glad that she's back on her feet and running okay towards the front of the field.
Yes, at this early stage of the race, as we saw in the first heats with the Frenchwoman, has time to recover. So, Hubert Trascianka is a 50-meter plus thrower, and he's doing so well at the moment. Well, that drops down at around 43 meters. He's disappointed with that, but he's got 2 more throws to go. So that means on the running scores, although Trascianka can improve, that Helpmans has actually just nudged in front of him at the top of the decathlon table, and there's more fallers there in the water jump. I think that was one of the French competitors going down on her knees, but it's still at the front. It's Sidenius, the Italian, alongside of the very good Serbian Obradovic, tucked in behind her. Well, Lindner's got herself back up there. She's back up into 3rd place after that early tumble. Yarosova also up there as well at this stage. And so most of the main contenders in that leading group of about 7 or 8 women, as it's starting to string out very slowly. They're coming up to the 1 kilometre mark. We'll give you an update on that. Just remember, the first heat went through in 3:24. There we go, 3:26, so very slightly slower.
That's going to lead potentially to a disqualification there. The athlete, I think it may have been a Greek athlete, running inside the cones, which you're clearly not allowed to do. Memedovic, the Serbian. Was it the Italian?
No, I think you're right first time. I think it was the Greek.
I thought it was the Greek.
Kiopoulou.
Well, Memedovic is an interesting athlete, the Serbian up towards the front. On lifetime bests, she should be the 3rd quickest in this field, but she's only run a 10:28 this season. But she looks pretty comfortable here. I think to the naked eye, you can tell that this is slower than the first of the heats, which bodes well for the likes of Allen, the Irish woman who set a PB, finishing 6th in 10:27. So the times from 6th to 10th in the first of the heats, 10:27 up to 10:34. So there is definitely an opportunity for 1 or 2 women here, if they don't finish inside the top 5, to nick a spot. But they've got to start winding up the pace a fraction. This doesn't feel as though it's quick enough to get many of the 5 non-automatic qualifiers from this second heat, unless they start injecting a little bit of energy.
Well, the one thing to remember from the first heat, though, is that the pace did drop rather dramatically in the 2nd kilometre. So if the pace stays fairly consistent, that'll, in a sense, close the gap between the 2 heats. But it's still Sedenius up there, and Memedovic looking good at the front. Lindner, no, she doesn't. It looks as though she's drying off quite quickly after that early, well, it wasn't in the water jump, but after that early tumble, there's no visible bruises and cuts, so that's good news. On the inside, it's Martin of France as well. She's running well. We've got 2 Frenchmen indeed up there, French women up there. And Yarasova just tucked in, easy to spot. The Czech runner, she's a bit taller than some of the women around her, and she's got that long ponytail as well, flailing from side to side. And clearly over that barrier. Nicely done there.
What I like about Yarasova, Phil, is that whenever she's coming up to a barrier, she's in 3rd place now. Whenever she's coming up to a barrier where there's a little bit of traffic around her, she's got no issue veering out into lane 2 to make sure she has a clear, unobstructed line of sight to the barrier. Very sensible championship running.
Absolutely, because she's also got the speed, the finishing speed, to sort out any problems at the end.
Right, Moser needed 2 at 95. Is it normal service resumed? Yes, it is. That's more like it. A little double fist pump there, so whatever was troubling her on that first attempt at 3:95 has been banished to the memory bin. All good for the European Youth Olympic Festival champion, who won that by almost half a metre. She's in cracking form, she's got a great coach, and she will believe that she's got a great chance of gold come the final. Now the first look at Kieft. Very confident. 4:51 in Hengelo earlier this month. Didn't bother with 3:75 or 3:95. Oh, too easy. She was miles over that bar. Minimum energy expended. And bearing in mind the automatic qualifying line here is 4:40, but only 4 in this field, including Kieft, have gone over that. So Kieft might end up qualifying for the final whilst only having to vault 2 or 3 times if she vaults clean.
Yes, now they went through 2 kilometres in 6:55, so the pace in the middle stage of the race was much more consistent. They're now 2 seconds ahead of the first heat, and it's now starting to really wind up. Lindner went to the front there just with 3 laps to go, and she's pushing hard now, and she's strung out the field behind her.
Yes, enough with all the messing about. And one of the 2 fastest women in this field, leading, Lindner. Gold has closed the gap as well, Millie Gold. She's run a 10.26 this year. Jarosova, the defending champion, right up there amongst the top 5. It could be a curious final, this, Phil, because we've got Lindner, who fell and is leading now. Looks like she's recovered. She's a 9.55 runner. Jarosova has run 9.53, and we've got Nygaard V, who's run a 9.51. But those three are 13 or 14 seconds quicker than the next best. So it could be a three-way battle for the gold. They're miles clear on paper of anyone else. It could be a cracking final, you know, assuming the two favourites from this one make it.
Yes, just coming up to the bell now. It's Lindner followed by Mamadovic. Millie Gold doing very well up there to stay in contention with the leaders in this race. Jarosova just watching everything about what's going on in front of her. She knows, and she's very experienced at this level, that it's not going to be any problems qualifying. She's just glancing over her shoulder just to see what's going on behind her. It's going to be a great battle for that last automatic qualifying position if the race stays like this. All the main leaders navigate the hurdle well. Sedenius leading the pack. She's behind. But now Lindner, well, she's not necessarily needing to really power home. It's Mamadovic and Gold, three abreast going over that hurdle. They've just got the water jump and one hurdle down the home straight to do. So Lindner, Mamadovic, Gold, Jarosova just running very comfortably. She doesn't need to do anything at all. Millie Gold might well be on course here for a personal best in this heat. She's doing extremely well. Jarosova, and now coming through, Herold has got herself up into the 5th automatic qualifying position, just putting a bit of space between herself and Romanet, one of the two Frenchwomen. And that's the battle for 5th place at the moment. Oh, I should say that. Well, Mamadovic just looking to sprint home and claim a little bit of glory. Lindner looking around, she was very comfortable. Just fractionally quicker than the first heat, but they are much more strung out. Mamadovic takes that, followed home by Lindner, Gold, Jarosova. And I think Herold gets the sprint for the 4th place. Jarosova just eased up. I think Herold might have got her on the line there. We'll have a look at the replay of the closing stages very shortly. We'll wait and see how it unfolds, because there was quite a distance between the 5 automatic qualifiers and the women coming home behind them. 10th person home was in 10.34 in the first heat, and I'm just looking down. I think it's only going to be Romanet and Fernandez, the French women and Portuguese women, in 6th and 7th that gets through. Maybe the Greek Piulu in 8th place might have a chance, but look at that. Personal best as well. I thought Millie Gold was on course for a personal best, but there's personal best all the way down the line as well.
Well, there was all sorts going on in that race. Abid managed to PB with 10.30, and she fell flat on her face in the water. She was absolutely soaked and managed to pick herself up for 9th spot. So a whole host of personal bests: 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and even 11th. Ben David. Nice showboating from Mamadovic towards the finish line. Right, so massive faller. That was Abid, who managed to pick herself up and get a PB, and then one of the other athletes taking almost taking a bath. But there were fallers all over the place. That was Lindner falling in the very early stages before picking herself back up to finish in 2nd place. So she fell once and came 2nd in the 2nd heat. And we had Burkis finishing 5th in the opening heat, having fallen twice. Oh, it was Bernardini. It was the Italian rather than the Greek who ran on the inside. So she will be disqualified, although she finished in 15th anyway, so she wouldn't have troubled the qualification. So it doesn't now promote someone else to the final. She was never going to get there.
Serbia could do well at these championships. Katanovic looking very, very strong yesterday in the men's 3000 heats, and over the barriers, Mamadovic looking very confident and comfortable. And as I said, she's a 4:19 runner, so she hasn't cracked 10 minutes yet. Could be looking at a really good challenge to the likes of Jarosova and the others in the final when they coming up tomorrow. So here's the wrap-up. That's the first heat.
Nygaard V, too good. Berkova, the medalist from last year, safely through. So too Dubonets, and Budis picking herself up not once but twice. Quite a few PBs in the first heat, not as many as the second. Greek athlete closing in on 10:30. What a great final it's going to be, and it's a three-way battle, I think.
There's the wrap-up of the steeplechase. Mamadovic, 10:20, but looking so comfortable. Lindner taking second place. These are the qualifiers for the final. Mamadovic, Lindner gold, Nygaard V, the winner of the first heat. Then getting through as non-automatic qualifiers. 15 women in this final. Julie Jutta Lindner, one of the women who I mentioned as having run under 9 minutes this year. Andrea Nygaard V leads the way with 9:57.72, as she did over the border in Sweden. There's Nygaard V. Looking very calm, confident. She was a very assured winner of the semi-final. Lamoni Hiolu. So Flannery of Ireland. Berkova is actually the national under-20 champion. Taylor Allen, two-time Irish champion. That is the Stella Fernandez, one of the women who set a personal best in her heat. Lily Gold. Now we're switching to the inside of the track. Herald Dubonets of Spain and Ukraine. Romanet, France. And here's Karolina Yarasova. Won this title 2 years ago as a 17-year-old in Jerusalem. Now, here's a talent, Mamadovic. 7 times Serbian under-20 champion in various distances. Olivia McGee, reigning British champion. Boris Vidkova. And on the inside, the very good German, who came through very strongly, qualified comfortably, despite falling in her heat. Draped over a barrier at one point, picked herself up and came through for a good qualification. So the championship record has been on the books since 2009 to the great Caroline Björkli Grovdal. Grovdal, of course, gone on to senior titles. 10,000 metres. Grovdal was such a good steeplechaser. Decided to just move away from the barriers not long into her senior career. But of course, she's a multiple European cross-country champion. So whoever wins this, I think great things await. European record held by Geta Felicitas Krause at 8:32.74.
I think what's interesting about this final, Phil, you've got 3 outstanding contenders who on paper are miles quicker than everyone else. Nygaard V is Europe's fastest with 9:51. You've got the defending champion Yarosova at 9:53 and Lindner, who fell in the heats at 9:55. The next quickest is the European under-18 silver medalist from last year, Berkova, who's never run inside 10:10.
There's some women having problems with the water jump once again, as we saw in the heats. Yeah, I think that's a very valid point, Rob. I also think, though, somewhere, some of these women have got untapped talent and will rise to the occasion as well. We saw that, as I say, with no less than 6 personal bests in the heats.
She'll be disqualified for that because she went round the wrong side of the barrier, which is a real shame.
Yes, and obviously nerves playing a part, and it's a very crowded field as well. That's a narrow exit as well. It's difficult to sight that water barrier because it's on the outside of the track. So we just settled down in the steeplechase. We're back to the discus.
Well, what a funny competition Dobbo has had. He's in 8th at the moment. He's earned himself a further 3 throws. Dobbo is the 2nd best in Europe this year. Oh, that's more like it. He almost didn't make the final. He had 2 no throws in qualification and then scraped in with a 57.36. It's been a similarly wobbly start to the final for the Hungarian, but he's made it, and all of a sudden he's right in the mix. Not just in the mix, he's the man in charge now. The top 3 all throwing over 61 metres. Dobbo from Lampinen and Van Dalen in 3rd. The discus competition really coming to life beautifully.
So 1:21 first lap, that translates as 81 seconds. Jarasova at the front, Lindner at the front, Nygaard V at the front. The 3 women we were talking about as having run under 10 minutes this year. So they've just gone through 1 kilometre. Five laps to go.
The top 3 are in front in the women's 3000-metre steeplechase. Rodziak is the European under-18 champion. He's off the pace, but no longer. He joins a growing list of those in contention over 60 metres. He was over the moon with his massive PB in the shot put, one of his weaker events. That's more like it from last year's champion from Banska Bystrica. 60.81. He moves up to 4th. There's real drama brewing in that discus final, that's for sure.
Well, they went through 1 kilometre in 3:23. It's fairly modest pace. That's still well outside 10 minutes. Of course, it's the 3 big women up the front now, starting to put a bit of daylight between themselves and the rest. Jarasova, Lindner and Nygaard V. Advantage of pulling away is that they all get clear sight of the barriers. So it's the 3 favourites. However, they're massed behind her. Lost a few up the back now. There was a bit of an injection of pace there on that lap. So it's now the 3 women who we were expecting to be at the 4. Lindner on the inside, Jarasova in the middle, Nygaard V taking the long way round.
Van Dalen, he's in the bronze medal position, but this man is used to winning everything. He's the best in Europe this year. Oh yes, oh yes. Dobbo was leading with 81.89. I think he's moved into the lead. Gold in the shot put. He's desperate to take gold here in the discus after just missing out on the ultimate medal last year at the World Under-20s. Cometh the man, cometh the talent. 63.18, Van Dalen in the lead.
Well, there's excitement in the field, excitement on the track. Lindner now pushing the pace. Nygaard V just watching what her German rival's doing. Well, they're slightly leaving Jarasova unsighted.
And by the way, it's Mamedovic and Berkova chasing the top 3 there in that steeplechase. Lampinen. Can he respond to Van Dalen's 63 metres? Not with that. Still in a medal position. But we now just have Lampinen on the podium. He's got one hand on the bronze, which is the colour he picked up in Lima in South America last year. But this is on home soil. He's prowling around. He's ready to deliver more.
Just coming up to 2 kilometres in this race. And now the big 3 are starting to stretch away from Berkova and Mamedovic. Nygaard V now going to the front for the first time. And she's starting to accelerate. And you can see that she's glancing up at the big screen. She wants to know where the rest are. Well, they're just immediately behind her. Lindner, Jarasova is still not exactly a majorly difficult pace for any of these women. 2 kilometres, 6:46, exactly the same 3:23 kilometre as the first kilometre. So it's very, very steady pace, and it's outside 10 minutes. Oh, it's Urasova. Urasova's gone out. Urasova's gone out. Oh, it looks as though she's pulled something, a knee problem. Oh, tragedy for the defending champion. We've still got Linda and Nygaard V up front, though, as they go through with 2 laps to go. Nygaard V now looking to put the pressure on Linda, and that's opened it up for who else is going to get on the podium. It's a battle for the bronze behind them as well, with Berkova and Mehmedovic shoulder to shoulder.
Well, a real disappointment there for the defending champion. I saw her just grimacing as she came off the water jump. Mehmedova and Berkova almost bumping into each other. Massive opportunity for one of those two to pick up the bronze, and don't rule out the French woman, Zoe Bourgui, who's just behind in 5th. But Nygaard and Lindner now in a 2-way battle for the title.
So coming across the water jump for the penultimate time, coming into the home straight, just got just under 500 metres to go. It was Bourgui just stuttering there going into the water jump. She had a few problems with the water jump in the heats, took 2 duckings, but she's still in the final. So Nygaard V now, just for the very first time in this race, starting to look a bit strained across her face. Linda on her shoulder. Now Nygaard V starting to really push hard, trying to break Linda. She's starting to pull away from the German. It's the speed of the Norwegian. She's trying to follow in the footsteps of her great compatriot Caroline Björkli-Grovdal. Nygaard V now starting to really lay down the gauntlet. Linda really doesn't have anything to answer at this stage. 3 barriers to go. Linda looking very tired very suddenly. Now it's Berkova getting away from Mehmedovic. Last year's silver medalist in Banska Bystrica in the under-18 ranks. Over the water jump for the last time. No problems for her. Linda hanging on with gritting her teeth. She knows all she's got to do is stay calm and collected, and the silver medal's hers. But Nygaard V stutters a little bit before the last barrier, but steeplechase gold once again, just like it's done on several occasions in the past, notably in 2009. Steeplechase gold goes to Norway. 9:57.59. Time doesn't matter. Andrea Nygaard V has taken the gold medal in the women's 3000-meter steeplechase, and she ran it as she wanted to. A tactically brilliant race. Let the others do the hard work during the early stages, and then with 2 laps to go, really cranked up the pressure. Julia Linda responded and was still there until about 250 metres to go. The German comes through for silver in 9:58.77. And there is a Czechia athlete on the podium, but it's not the one we expected. Instead, it's Emma Berkova, last year's silver medalist in the under-18s, gets the bronze here in Tampere, takes bronze in the under-20 ranks in a personal best of 10:09.71.
Well, Mehmedovic, who was right in the mix for the bronze, was absolutely out on her feet on that last lap. Berkova streaked away from her. Excellent finish from Borges as well. She's rewarded with a PB. So too Vitkova. Lindner did all she could to live with the pace of Nygaard V. But she wound it up. She wound it up and she pulled away. Massive drama on that water jump when Karolina Urasova, the defending champion, just had to sidle off the track, and she collapsed in floods of tears. Obviously a problem at the water jump. Berkova's done brilliantly to follow up that silver last year with a bronze here in the under-20s. There will be that disqualification. That's Herald, because you're not allowed to go on the wrong side of the barrier. That was the first time round on the water jump. But Nygaard V was so confident and so bold. Excellent spirit right there towards the line, because Lindner was sprinting for all she was worth. But Nygaard V could afford to celebrate the moment. Youth Olympic Festival silver 2 years ago, European Under-20 gold in 2025, and she loved it.
Andrea Nygaard V clinching gold with a 3:11 last kilometre. She didn't need to run any personal best. She had the turn of speed to get gold. There's all the three medalists grouped together. As I said, Berkova, I wonder what was going through her mind when she saw her compatriot move to the side of the track and go down on her knees. I hope Urasova is going to be okay.